Hi guys. I suppose we are good to go to the next lesson. Let me share you my screen. And let's remember where we are now. So at the previous lesson, we provisioned Jenkins agent. Here it is. And now we know how to build inside the Jenkins agent node. And for example, it is required to use Golang, and we provisioned Jenkins agent with Golang installed inside the agent, and it's quite useful. And also it meets some security requirement, as there is nothing is running in Jenkins Jenkins controller node. And the next step is to provision something like production server, and step 3C is rebuilding our application on the production server. So let's recap the flow again. A developer change its code, push new code to GitHub. GitHub noticed that there is a change in branch main, triggers webhook on Jenkins controller. Here is the pipeline starts to run, and Jenkins run our pipeline inside Jenkins agent with the Golang pre-installed here. And there is the build step test, and of course we pull our code from GitHub. So, and now we are going to use we are going to make our build not inside just Jenkins agent, but inside Golang container instead. It means that we will run a job of pipeline not inside another instance, but inside other instance and inside a container. So let's dive in to this task. And as you remember, we have pipeline lesson 8 from previous lesson. And now we need to be able to run our pipeline not inside just a node, but also inside a container inside a node one. So for this purpose, as usually, we need to install new plugin. It is called Docker pipeline. We can check the Docker workflow name. Let's install it. Okay, it has been successfully installed, and we're creating new pipeline. For example, let's call it sample pipeline Docker container. And here is quite basic pipeline. So what is happening here? We are using agent, but instead of using just node one, we are saying that the agent will be a Docker with this image. And as you remember, we have our node 1 instance. It's Ubuntu operating system. And now we suppose we need to run our pipeline inside a CentOS operating system, and we can use Docker for this purpose. And just to test purposes, let's check CentOS release in this pipeline. So that's all we need. Let's try to build it. Let's fade it. Have we installed Docker to the instance? One moment. Of course, we need to install Docker engine, because when we install the pipeline, there is nothing to do with the node 1. So now we are going to our Terraform infrastructure as a code, and as you remember, we have two instances. Instance 1 is for Jenkins. Instance 2 is for agent node. So we need to install Docker engine to the node 2, but I suppose that it will be the best option just to change user data for instance 2 and recreate instance. So let's install Docker engine, add this. Actually, this is code is taken from instance 1. Here it is. We have installed Docker for Jenkins, and just copy paste this code. And we need to add changing for Ubuntu username to Docker group. Adding Ubuntu user to Docker group. So that's all we need to change on node 1. Let's save it. And let's recreate instance 2. So it is a plan to destroy one instance. It's instance 2. Now we applying the code again to create instance 2 again. Okay, instance tool has been created. As the IP address has been changed, we need to change it in Jenkins as well. So as you remember, we are going to manage Jenkins nodes and changing the node IP address. And save it. Let's wait for this instance to be ready. Let's check whether Docker has been installed. Not yet. What is happening? Okay, it's better. Okay. If Docker has been installed successfully, we would be able to run our world. Yes. So as the instance is up and running, let's relaunch the agent. Okay, the agent is connected. But I suppose actually it is up. Yes, it is in sync. So we can now build the pipeline once more time. Okay, now we can see that first of all, node 1 pulled image CentOS latest to be used as the agent node, and then inside this container, we have run this command, and now we can be sure that we can run our pipeline inside CentOS Linux. So that's great. And let's go to our main pipeline. It's pipeline lesson 1. Let's copy it to the next name, lesson 9, for example. Let's click new item, call it lesson 8, and copy from lesson 8. Okay, it is the same. Everything is the same, but we have changed the name. It's important. And as you remember, we use a Jenkins file as a pipeline. So we need to go to our web application directory, and if you need to change pipeline, let's do it here. Let's edit it. And here we would like to run our pipeline in the Golang container. For this purpose, I will change the agent to Docker. Here is the special string that allows to run Golang inside this directory. So now we don't need to install Golang on node 1. We just run it inside a container with Golang pre-installed. And to the build stage, I would like to add just one command, called go cache. So let me check it. Okay, seems to be correct. First time, let's build it manually. And when we checked something inside the main branch, so we have updated trigger who run our pipeline from lesson 8. Just to mute it, I would unchecked this item trigger. Yes. And it has been failed because there is nothing should be run. And here, let's check it. And what is happening here? We are downloading Golang image from Docker Hub. Then we are going to build our application inside the container. Suppose building was all right, and we are testing application as well inside container, and here is the success. So now we have build, test our application inside a container on the agent node. So where we are now. So now we need a production server just to follow with our pipeline flow. Let me find it. Okay, here is our diagram. And the next step, what we are going to do is to provision instance 3. It will be an emulation of production server. And of course, we will be using AWS and Terraform. So for this purpose, let's go to compute. We can copy paste instance 2 and change the name to instance 3. Instance type, it actually doesn't matter. It could be even a nanotype. And we are using user data instance 3. Actually, it is in the same AMI Ubuntu, in the same security group for EC2, and within the same subnet ID. Okay, let's save this config. Next, as we are using port 8081, we need to add it to variable with port list. No, it's ELB for EC2 8081. Let's save it. Here we have changed this line. And we need to create instance user data for instance. Let's create new file. User data instance 3. Okay, and first of all, we need to install Java. Oh, no. We need to install Golang because we will be run our application, which is actually Golang application. And we need to install Git just to be able to push the configuration from GitHub. The next step to be able to run our application need to clone our repository from GitHub to local directory. It's just cd home ubuntu at git clone, and here is the path to the application. Next step, it is supposed to build the application once it has provisioned in the AWS. So now we are building the application. As you know, we are going to a web app directory and building application. And the next step, it would be much easier if we run our application as a daemon in Linux, and it could be done this way. So we are creating the service. Inside this service, here is the unit field that we are waiting for network, and after network is up and running, we are going to start this service. And actually in service unit, we are using this directory and start with the application which is called web app. So, and next, as the daemon is ready, it needs to be restarted and start the application. And it shall just for logs to be able to understand what is happening on our machine. And we can use SSH keys, but for example, we can use username with a password, and for example, we can edit also. Here is what we used for enabling password in Ubuntu. So that's all. User data is ready. And we are ready to provision the infrastructure. Okay, we are going to one to add. It's EC2 instance free and one to change. It's port list for security group. Oh, of course, I forget to add the output. The output for instance free public IP address. We run apply once again, we will change the output only. Okay, here we can see the public IP address of the production server. Let's connect to it. And application has been started as a daemon. Let's check it. We have IP address. You can use port 8081. Oh, great. The application works as expected. And so the next step, we would like to change the build stage just to rebuild our application to production server. And to be able to connect to another instance, we need to install plugin SSH agent. Let's go to manage Jenkins, plugins, available plugins here, SSH agent, and let's install it. And just for test purposes, let's add credentials with SSH private key. We have Ubuntu credentials with username and the password, and now I would like to add credentials SSH username with private key. There would be username Ubuntu as well, and the private key. I need to add it here, and I will do it on my screen. Okay, here we are. So we have created the threads to connect to our production server, Ubuntu threads, and the next step, we have to update our pipeline lesson 9. It's here. So what we can see here, we are running stage build, stage test inside the Golang container. But what if we need to SSH to have SSH connection, not from a container, but from node 1, because there is nothing special, just SSH connection from one machine to another machine. And let me show you the diagram once again, because I suppose it could be quite complicated to get the idea. So here is our diagram. And what we are going to do, we are running step build and step test inside a Golang container but we can run SSH from just Jenkins itself. It's one SSH session just to rebuild the production code. So now we have a task to separate the agents between our pipelines. So here is what we are going to do. we are using the line with the agent none. It means that we specify the agent for each stage. And here we are using stage build and test. And for stage build and test, we are using some agent. And for stage test and build, we have multiple stage. And it's checkout, build, and test, and so on. So so this here is what we are going to change. Okay. We have to edit. So now we are using the agent none. It means it could be defined a bit later. And inside agent with the Docker Golang, we are performing building the application, testing the application, and inside stage deploy. And stage deploy. We run this stage on the agent with the defined label. We can use label with the controller, or we can just use the label one. And let's change the IP address of our production server. Could be fine from the output. The IP address of production server. And here is the command, how we're going to rebuild and restart the application inside the production instance. We're going to our directory, web application with our web application. Then we updating the code. Git pull updates the code from GitHub. And then we are building this code once again and restart the web application, restart the service, the daemon. So it looks good. Let's apply the changes. Let's check. It is already running because we are using webhook. Let's look at the console output. Is everything according to our plan? We are using Golang. Then the building application. Application has been built successfully. Then testing application, exit code 0, that's okay. And then we are running on node 1, inside workspace pipeline lesson 9. Here is the stage deploying application. And we are connecting to production server, performing git pull. This is the result of our git pull command, and we have restart our application. And so there is no change because we actually change only a Jenkins file. And now, for example, we are a person who changed the code. Let's change it to lesson 9. For example, we are coder and we have committed to main branch change for code, and our pipeline is going to run shortly, and actually it is running. Here we can see that we changed to change, remove, and add one file change, one insertion, one deletion, and let's check the code. Okay, it has been changed. Hello from lesson 9. And one more thing for today. As you can see, it's not very comfortable each time to check our code with console output, looking for this stuff. Actually, there is the plugin which could change the representation a little bit more convenient, maybe. Actually, it's called Pipeline Stage View. Let's install it. Actually, you can use Blue Ocean as well. And now let's build, for example, once again, the application. Let's change anything. Let's add exclamation mark. Commit change to the main branch. And here, the pipeline lesson. And here we can see this view. It's much easier to watch what is happening in our pipeline. And we can see that stage build, stage test successfully completed, and now stage deploy successfully completed also. And now we have our change in production environment as well. So that's all for today's lesson. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask now. So if there is no question, we can finish the lesson. Okay, no questions. So thank you guys for attending the lessons.
Thank you very much, Artyom.